All right, let's give you this. Washington Nationals fall in extra innings to the Philadelphia Phillies, but what a performance by Mackenzie Gore. He joins this list. Most strikeouts without a walk in opening day history. J.R. Richard back in 1980 did it against the Dodgers with 13, and Bob Gibson also did it against the Giants way back in 1967. Guys, his stuff has always been electric. What was working for him yesterday?
We were waiting, Roflo, for him to take the next step. You could kind of starting to see it come. I mean, just elite stuff, right?
Kitchen sink.
So I wanted Chris Young out here. We're gonna glance over how he attacks the lefties, but I want CY out here because you talk about two different ways of going about it. I was a guy that wanted to hit the ball up the middle the other way. You were a guy that wanted to close the screen door and go deep to left. And facing a guy like Mackenzie Gore, I think your way actually,
I like my approach.
It might be the better approach. We'll get into it, but I want to love on him a little bit because I'm not surprised. The shadows played a major part yesterday. Day game in D.C., they started creeping in. But lefties have absolute zero chance. So pause this real quick. Bring up how he attacks left-handers. And you see it Thursday. I mean, normally, a fastball, curveball in 2024 with a slider sweeper. He said, no, we're throwing that out the door. I don't know if he thought they couldn't pick up the baseball or whatever he was doing from the left side. You were getting 51.1% slider.
It's shocking that he went through entire 2024 only throwing it 7% of the time. You have to have something going away, like really away from the lefties to try to change the effectiveness of your fastball. Yes, I understand you throw 97, 98 miles an hour topping out, but you have to have something to keep them off balance to try to speed that fastball up a little bit.
And you know you got good stuff. Give me the first at bat for Bryce Harper. Listen, him coming back into Nats Park, 95 middle. Just no fear in the world. Then nasty 88 sweeper. And then see you later. Just a little bit off. And it was a steady diet of this sweeper to the left-handed hitters. Max Kepler, little shadows right there, gets jelly-legged. Bryson Stott, same thing. Unless you're willing to pot commit and take this up the middle the other way, it's going to be hard for you to stay on that.
Right.
And when he's got 97, you can't come off it.
And D-Ro, I understand the shadows play, and you saw the very first at bat, the shadows weren't really there. As the game went along, he started to notice that they couldn't pick up the spin on his ball. And yes, maybe he exposed that a little bit, but more than just using it, he was able to be effective with it. When you look at where he was hitting his spots, he was starting things in the zone, dropping off the table, starting it in the zone, falling out to the right. I mean, he used it extremely effectively.
I want to know why this guy, you watch him and this stuff explodes off the TV screen. Highest perceived average fastball velocity. So what does that mean? Some guys have a tendency, and we face these guys. I think Jose Quintana is a perfect example of perceived velocity because when you watch him warm up, you would almost think, all right, 90 to 92, I'm going to get on this. It looks like just a normal four-seam lefty fastball. And then you get in a box, and it's got this late hop through the zone, and it just plays a lot hotter than you think it's going to.
Just watching him pitch, I assumed he was 6'5".
Yeah.
Like watching him on the mound, he has a presence of a taller pitcher. Now look it up, I'm like, this guy's 6'2"? He does not look 6'2" when he's out there.
So Mackenzie Gore has got that perceived velocity. So let's see a side angle of his motion, see if he has deception. I mean, he really gets out there. He kind of shows the ball behind, and then it's from the ear and nasty. And he stands on the third base side of the mound. I'm big on that. Kids at home, don't be afraid to manipulate that mound a little bit. Because when you stand on the third base side of the mound, for me, when I'm a right-handed hitter and I'm a guy that likes to move the ball up the middle the other way, you almost feel like you're behind me a little bit, where I have to open up. I don't know if you felt that.
No, that's something that I used to play with Andrew Heaney. And when I was an everyday player, I would go and stand in on his bullpens. And one thing he would always play with, he said, CY, I want to see how this ball looks when I'm standing on the left side of the rubber, right side of the rubber.
Yes.
You would assume that with him being on the front first base side, he would be able to get more crossfire, but he really struggled to hit that inside corner when he had to come so far across his body. When he found himself on the third base side of the rubber, it felt like it was just bearing down on me if he can hit that spot on the inside. It was impressive.
And that's what when I watch Mackenzie. He's on the third base side of the mound for a right-handed hitter. He doesn't have to worry with his stuff being so electric about being so fine print with his location. He can miss over the heart of the plate and get foul offs. But what it looks to me like he's trying to accomplish, and we've talked about this before, he's trying to turn 17 inches into almost 20. He wants this inside of the white line to a right-handed hitter where you get in that auto swing mode to try and get him out of there, and then he can throw that nasty breaking ball and you got nothing for a right-hander. So let's run this, and then we'll get into how Chris Young would attack it. You see it right here where he's set up. He's going to make the plate bigger. So Alec Boehm is, you just start getting into this auto swing mode where that looks like a strike for a long time. Trey Turner, you see him checking out where the second base is playing him. Top of the zone, 95. Middle cut, gets away with it.
That's the one. That's the pitch right there.
Middle cut. gets away with it. Breaking ball, top of the zone. Now it's nasty breaking ball. You would assume heater right here. Let's make the plate bigger. Nice job, Bader. Here we go. Wipeout, 96, black, maybe in off a little bit, but you're swinging at that. So you saw how he attacked right-handed batters yesterday. He dumbed down his fastball usage, upped his curveball, upped his change. You were getting a 4-pitch mix. My question to you, I was always the guy when I faced somebody like that, I would almost draw an imaginary line from the black part of this plate, inside half, out to his arm. So I wanted to know if it started on that line, if it was going to be ball in, if it was going to catch part of the plate, because I was the guy who was trying to stay inside, and I didn't want to swing at that breaking ball down and in.
Right.
Now
let's switch.
You thought you could beat him to the spot and take him deep to left.
And that approach, it all depended on the pitcher. If I knew the pitcher couldn't come in here comfortably, I would go with your approach.
Yeah.
I would say, okay,
staying out.
I'm gonna stay out over, he'll make a mistake out over, I'm trying to drop this ball through the middle. What makes Mackenzie Gore different for me is that he's proven, like Carlos Rodon when he was with the White Sox, he proved to me that he can consistently throw the ball right over this inner corner. So I said, okay, instead of trying to stay inside this ball and fight it the other way, because everything is coming towards me. If he throws me that cutter and you're trying to take the ball the other way, you're literally fighting.
You're fighting.
You're fighting to try to, get jammed the other way. My hands weren't good enough, D-Ro, to get to a point to where I'm getting inside and driving a ball that's moving in towards me to right center field. So I say, I'll take the other approach, and I'll give him this outer quarter right here. So yes, I'll be exposed on the great changeup that he throws. But the cutter, the breaking ball, and the fastball,
coming in,
I got this all the way to here, and now it's a race to the spot. So if he's coming in, and I could get my ankle blown up on a foul ball. I completely understand that. But I'm taking my chances because the balls that Trey Turner fouled off in that breakdown, he's late on the fastball middle in. So what I'm trying to do, this ball is going straight left field, and I'm trying to race you to the punch because you have 97. I have to respect the 97. I'm getting the head out and trying to catch you right here.
And that's the game. He knows that. He knows the hitters that are going to try and beat him to the spot. He knows the hitters that are going to try and force feed balls up the middle the other way. Lefties really have no shot if he's on.
Yeah.
Robert, expect more from Mackenzie Gore.
Hey, I like that.
Very
Come
good.
on.
Nicely done. According to StatCast, Brenton Doyle has been the best defender in the outfield since 2023. And Brenton, I read where you said something to the effect, acknowledging the challenges that Coors Field provides, but that you want to continue playing center field despite the toll that it can take on your body. Why is that so important that you continue to man center field?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I found a great home in center field, and I always just, the more I have to work out there, the better I feel. And, like you said, Coors Field is a pretty challenging outfield, but I use that as my advantage. I go to these other ballparks, and it kind of makes them seem even smaller and easier to play.
A lot of hard work, I'm sure, has gone into this from a defensive standpoint, but were you always, as a young kid, the best defender on your team, had the best hands, or was this a kind of a work in progress?
It was a little bit of work in progress, actually.
Really?
So I was kind of like the short, scrappy middle infielder growing up. And high school, I hit my growth spurt, and the high school coach threw me in the outfield, and it was probably the best decision that ever happened. So, and then I've just been grinding the outfield ever since.
What's the number one thing they showed you? Like jumps on getting on jumps in the gaps, or what's the number one thing that kind of flipped it?
I think it's the first step quickness and just that building that knowledge and anticipation out there.
Brendan, CY here. I've played many games there in Coors Field, and people don't really understand, they know the ball flies there, so you're assuming that outfielders would just naturally play deep because the ball's going to fly, but then so many bleeders fall in front of you, and I see the plays that you make, which separates you, is you're able to get to those bleeders. I see a lot of diving catches coming forward, but I also see the plays being made at the wall. Where do you set up in Coors to try to balance the two off?
I mean, it really depends on your pitching matchup and your hitter that's hitting. I mean, we have some good shift cards that kind of help me put me in the best spot. But going back to that first step quickness kind of thing, those are the exact kind of balls that you really need to be dialed in because if you take a false step back or something, you're not going to get to that bleeder. And that's something that I really try to work on a lot.
We focus on the defense, but 23 and 72 is nothing to sneeze at.
No.
I mean, from an offensive standpoint, how have you felt in spring, kind of leading into today?
Yeah, good spring.
Yeah.
I mean, been getting a lot of good work in with the hitting coaches, and the boys been doing really good in spring training, and it's just been a blast, and we're all eager to get started and get going.
What would you say the biggest adjustment you made last season? Because when you look at your numbers, you see the power uptick over the first couple of years that you had. I'm sure you're trying to build off that going into this season. What is the adjustment that you had to make?
So a couple of things. I kind of set up my stance a little bit more 60-40 shifted in my back. I'm really just trying to sit in my back half and let the ball get to me. And the other thing is it's a term called early barrel connection. It's kind of the point of the barrel where right before it gets on plane, and I just made it a lot more efficient, and it helps me stay on plane longer.
Is that, I saw the drill that you use. Is that where you have the ball on your
the
top,
connection ball.
So it's a ball, D-Row, on his right shoulder and set up something like you would do for a golf drill. And he has the ball here on his bat, and then he wants to turn. And what you want the ball to stay up here while you're firing?
Correct. Because if you lose that barrel, the ball is going to fall out way too early. And it's just a nice kind of physical object to have. So you're not having to think about it. You just know it's there and it's working.
I've been going to the cages lately. I'm going to try that one out. I promise.
Yeah, please do. Let me know.
Brenton, I read somewhere that there was a write-up on your team, and clearly the Rockies play in what is arguably the toughest division in all of baseball. But the focus of the article was yourself and Ezequiel Tovar. That you guys feel like you have a nice young nucleus forming there in Colorado. I wonder if you could elaborate on that for a little bit.
Yes, we do. I mean, I think we have a great mix of young guys and veteran leadership in this clubhouse, and we're really excited what we got in there, and there's a good buzz going around in the clubhouse. I mean, we're talking about winning and playoffs a lot more than the years past, so a lot of good conversations going on, and we're really ready to get things rolling.
What are they serving up for breakfast at Steinbrenner Field this morning? What'd you get into?
I came straight out here.
Did you
I was
really?
eager to get this interview out of the way. Yeah.
Okay, what
so
are we
I don't
gonna
know
have?
yet.
Yeah, what are we
thinking?
Hopefully they got some good eggs, hash browns, and maybe some sausage patties.
That sounds good.
He likes patties over links.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I know.
Nothing wrong with that.
That is true.
He's a fourth-round pick out of Shepherd University, Division II school. The scouting director said if this guy was playing at a bigger school, he'd be a first-rounder. So shout out to Shepherd University, Brenton.
Yeah, shout out Shepherd University, man. I'm so thankful I've come from a Division II school, and it gives that hope to those kids that they don't need to go to that big D1 school to pursue their dreams.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Hey, man, thanks for the time. Enjoy breakfast, enjoy the game, and good luck to you and the Rockies in 2025.